Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time of day you've chosen to join us, I thank you again. Welcome to A Word with Adam. I'm your host, Adam Gerard, and joining me this week is professional wrestler Blakestone, the newest member of the Bullet Kliq. And how are you today, sir?
Good, thanks. Yourself?
I'm well, thank you, I'm well. Now, let's get into it right off the bat. Last night was a pretty big night for you at the AWA Season 1, Episode 2 event. You joined the Bullet Kliq. Let's get into that. How'd that come about?
Well, I've done battle with Spaceboy, now Spaceman, Coyote and Maniac. And Maniac, we caught up at a show in Sydney and he ran this idea by me. And it took me a while. I thought it out. I thought it over a couple of weeks and he just kept hassling me. And I thought, you know what? I've been in this business for 15 years. I've always been alone. I've always been the lone wolf, the guy that thought he could just do it all on his own. And I'm thinking now, I want to start getting older, but I think I've still got a good 10 years at least in me. Mm-hmm. But I know I can't do that alone, especially at the level that I compete at. So I thought, if I got a few guys behind me, not only a few guys, I mean big guys.
Yeah.
Okay, big guys. They can help me get to the top.
Yep.
And then when it's my time, I can let the younger guys get to the top, and we've got a nice little crew going now. So it's I got sold on that idea, and here it is, Bullet Kliq for life.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, and just moving on to the event last night, obviously you put a bit of double duty. You opened up in the first match, and then ended up in the main event as well after Maniac got taken out by Rocky Monero, who some of you remember from the last podcast, acted like a scumbag on that show, I might say. So you end up in the main event, took on Elliot Sexton. You came up short, unfortunately, but what was it like to wrestle Sexton?
It was a good experience, actually. I got a good chance to measure him up. I've never met him before, never actually seen him before. I heard a lot about him, and I thought I'll give this guy a go. And it's not much impresses me. He's a smug little bastard, and I can't wait to get back in the ring with him again. Yeah. And he had the cheap shot me to get the victory, so I know what depths he's going to go to get victory.
Yeah.
So next time it's going to be a different story, and it's as simple as that.
All right, let's go back a little bit. So obviously, I'm guessing you got into wrestling as a kid. That's how most of us get into it. What is it that hooked you?
WrestleMania 3, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant. I remember my mum let me stay up late. Back at the time, it was on Channel 9. The show ran from like 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. to midnight, and I just couldn't go to sleep. And just when Hogan hit the big clothesline, hulked up, and then he slammed him, and it was like, that was just one of the most impressive things I've ever seen, and it's still to this day is probably one of the most impressive things I've seen in a professional wrestling ring, like from memory. Then he hit the big leg, and then he pinned Andre, and when he pinned Andre, it was like, that was impossible.
Nobody had done it.
Nobody can do it. It was just one of the things that you never thought would ever happen, and to that day, I just wanted to find a way to become a professional wrestler. I didn't know if it was realistic in this country ever, but obviously now we're here talking.
Exactly, 15 years later, you're always right.
But it happened, and that was the thing, and that's pretty much why I'm here.
Yeah. Fair enough. And so you get into it with Andre and Hogan, and so then you go to decide, I'm going to train to become a wrestler. Mm-hmm. So take us through that process. How do you go about finding a school and getting your matches and all this sort of stuff?
Well, ironically, I was just buying an ECW DVD in a Big W, and the guy at the counter goes, "Oh, you in the wrestling, eh?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I do professional wrestling." And I went, "What, around here?" This is back in where I'm from. And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, when's your next show?" And he goes, he told me the show, the date and the venue, and I went and I checked it out. And then he took me backstage and introduced me to the promoter, and then I started training. And actually, to be honest, I was in the ring way earlier than what I should have been. Mm-hmm. But the promoter wanted to get me in the ring straight away, just for a big guy, big size.
I was going to say, you're a pretty big fella, so...
So, I was like 4 weeks of training, I was in the ring.
Fuck, wow.
Yeah, so it's, I just did a couple of, I squashed a few guys just to build my character up, and then, next thing you know, 6 weeks later, we had a big show. And, it was, in my opinion, I was thrown in the ring a lot sooner than what I should have been. Yep. But,
we learned from it, didn't it? Sink or swim sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And no one's ever good when they first start out. Everyone's green.
Yeah.
And, but it was a good experience, and I just kept getting better from that, and led me to who I am today.
And today, I know in your off time you work as a personal trainer and obviously stay fit. I mean, you're a unit of a man. Let's talk. If you don't mind my asking, let's talk through what does it take to like how much do you have to eat, how much do you have to train to actually stay in what is clearly peak physical conditioning.
Well, I train twice a day, morning and afternoon, sometimes 3 times a day. It just depends on my schedule and what else I got to do. Also, wrestling stuff as well is in there as well, so I got to do stuff towards that. But obviously, diet's essential. You know what I mean? Like I might have a beer here and there, but that's about it. Like everything's clean. I don't eat any grains. I don't drink milk. I eat a lot of protein. It's
so
paleo style version of a diet. Yeah, yep. It's with a few supplements here and there. But other than that, it's just clean as. If you want to get in shape and keep in shape, it's you can't out train the poor diet, and that's just the bottom line. Simple as that.
That makes sense. Everything you eat's the building block for what you become, isn't it?
That's it. Well, nutrition's the pyramid. So you got a pyramid, to your healthy lifestyle. Nutrition's the bottom of it all. Then you got your weightlifting or whatever you do, your body weight, your calisthenics, gymnastics. Then you got your sport, like whether it be wrestling, basketball, cricket. But the bottom line, if you want to be the best or the best around who you're amongst, that if you get that nutrition right, everything else will build and fall into place.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, so let's get off from nutrition and back into wrestling now. So as you say, you start off and you're green, right? And so I'm guessing after a few years' time, the green starts to wear down. You start to feel like you're knowing your way in it. How long was it for you until you felt like you truly could step into the ring and say, "Yep, I can call a match"?
Well, the promotion I started with were pretty much a school holidays gimmick, and it was a lot of bumping. Like there was no real psychology. And that promotion wouldn't let you wrestle exclusively. You could only wrestle for that promotion or no one else.
Right, yeah.
And then all of a sudden I just I got a bit bland with that scene, and I wanted to branch out. I wanted to show Australia how good I am, because I knew I had something, and I knew I was on my way to something. And then all of a sudden I left the promotion I was at, and then I started putting my name out there in a state, which included here for a different company in Adelaide. I was wrestling in Canberra, in Queensland, and Melbourne, and then I got my name out there, and that was when my character, the Blakestone character, that's when I actually felt like a professional wrestler. That's when I was proud enough to stick the chest up high and say, "Look, I'm a pro wrestler. I do this. This is what I do." It's not just a part of what I do, it is what I do.
It is what, and
I really believed in that. And the character at the time, I think, was, everyone believed in it, and they're going, "Look at this guy. It's he's belting the crap out of people, all around the state." And that's what got me out there. I wasn't just suffocated in one promotion, just, wrestling in school holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I got myself out there, and that's when I felt like a professional wrestler. And that was probably one of the best feelings I've had in the business.
I can bet.
Not taking away where I come from, but I needed to branch out to make myself known to promoters and fans.
Well, the more you get booked, the better you learn to work, isn't it? Because you work with more people,
That's
more
right.
territories, more crowds.
And I could do a lot more psychology. I could actually wrestle. I could actually make a match, create a match, go out there and do it. Tell a story, and do what I do best, and that's as simple as that. Like it's gold.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It works. The fans obviously connect with it.
Yeah.
So which one do you prefer? Do you prefer working the baby face or the heel, the good guy, the bad guy? Which one's your bread and butter?
To be honest, I can do both. I do both as equally as well. I can get the crowd over as a heel. It just depends. Sometimes my physique and my size gets me over straight away with fans.
Yeah, of course.
Just without any disrespect, there's not too many guys that are actually in fighting shape in this business, in this country. So you're automatically going to get over that in that sort of sense. And like I've done the most heelish things and got cheered for it. So it's hard.
Stone Cold effect.
It's to a certain degree. It was just one of those things. I've done some of the most villainous, violent things to people and gotten cheered. It's so it's hard. And then promoters go, "Well, you got to be a babyface now," and it's sort of like Is
it hard with your character? Because obviously the Blakestone character's he seems very fluid and moves and stuff. But is it hard for that character when you're building yourself up and you go, "Okay, I'm going to the heel mindset," and so you try to build everything you do around the heel. And then something turns you in the match and the promoter comes back and goes, "No, you're babyface." Now suddenly you've got to change your character's psychology.
That's not hard.
No,
that's not hard.
Okay.
It's there's a certain formula like I go by like for both.
Yep.
Like it's you want to make these people hate you if you're a bad guy, and you want to make the people love you if you're a good guy.
Yep.
You know, if you got to go and kiss babies and hug grandmas to do that, then you got to do that. That's just I'm not in between. I either do it all or nothing. I don't try and be the hard ass, baby face. If you're gonna do the baby face, you got to do it right. It's like you got to hug the babies, kiss the grandmas.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. You got to
high five the fans all the way around.
Yeah, that's it. You got to do these ones.
Exactly. Yeah.
Where if you're the bad guy, you got to brush them. You got to let them know you don't like them. You got to let them know that you're better than them, and that's and that's easy to do too. It's either way, it's just how the crowd react.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's and that's what you got to go by.
That's it. But I mean, hey, if you can do it either way, it means you're getting crowd reactions. That's the main thing. Is there's nothing I imagine there's nothing worse than wrestling in silence.
No, that's right.
Just
as long as you get a reaction, you're happy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then next time you just need, if the reaction doesn't go your way or the way you didn't pan it out, then you iron that out and change it next time.
That's fair enough. All right, changing topics slightly, I'll ask you the same question I asked Rocky. It seems like it was one that the fans really liked hearing about. Have you ever had anybody shooting you in the ring? You ever had a match turn into a shoot?
No. How can I say? No, but yes, there's guys in the business you can trust and hit hard.
Yeah.
Like hit really hard. You know you can hit them hard in the safe spots.
Mm-hmm.
There's one guy in particular back in Sydney, we know we can belt the crap out of each other. We know we're going to be okay at the end of the day. But in an actual shoot, no.
No. Oh, that's good. That's
good. Yeah. But we beat the crap out of each other. Yeah, you can hit some guys very hard and they hit hard back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, it's never really gone.
Yeah, you don't walk out bloody and injured or anything.
No. It's never gone past that line. You're hitting the safe spots, hit as hard as you want. We know we can do that. Get backstage and all's happy. Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. At least you have, mate. That's I mean, I personally would think getting into a shoe would be the worst when you're like, dude, come on, we're just trying to entertain here, don't we? But yeah. All right, so let's move on to other things. So you're from Sydney, or you're based in Sydney now. That's your main home ground. Is it something that you want to make Sydney wrestling better, or would you prefer to see wrestling Australia-wide become a big countrywide phenomenon almost?
Yeah, like countrywide would be awesome.
Yeah.
If we can get the bullet click going nationwide instead of just being condensed in one section, great. It's we're currently working with promoters all around the country trying to get the bullet click out there. And that's what we want to get professional wrestling out there as well.
Yeah.
It's and there is a good market for professional wrestling in this country. It's Sydney's very condensed. Sydney, there's a lot of companies in the one area. Like within say New South Wales has got a lot of feds in particular. So it's and obviously it's going to be very hard to get everyone working together.
Yeah,
but again, the population's there. And there's no reason why we can't get professional wrestling out there as long as it's good quality.
Mm-hmm.
And it's and we are getting the odd international out in Sydney as well, which is building up.
I saw Ricochet was out in Melbourne or Sydney recently as well. There are a lot of guys that seem to be wanting to come here and work now, which hopefully means we're going to get more business and more fans and more eyes on our product. Because I honestly think Australia's indie wrestling scene is one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
If I can actually get you to tell me a story, we were talking about this off air last night. Wrestling in the 70s in Australia, you opened my mind to things I didn't even know about. The fact that we'd invented the tag titles and things like that. Do you want to just give me a little bit of Australian wrestling history because it seemed to be quite an
event. Back around the 70s, like the Americans used to come here to wrestle. Like Andre the Giant actually came here. Like professional wrestling in Australia in the 70s was it. There was you had Ron Miller, who was probably one of the best in the world at the time.
Yeah.
He was our top guy, and it was he was headlining the cards, and then Andre would come out and wrestle the guy. I actually trained me.
Wow.
So it was always good to watch those matches.
Yeah.
That was Andy Animal Harpus, and Andre would come and squash these guys. And that's the thing. The thing the Americans did with us, that like they would just take the product and glitz it up and glamour and get all the entertainment side of things to it.
Put that ridiculous polish on it.
That's it, and that's why they made it their own, obviously. Yep. So, but we invented the tag team titles, or tag team wrestling, so to speak. So
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Yeah. So if you go back and check your history, you'll find some really interesting stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it seems like now, like you look at NXT now and you look at the WWE, the Cruiserweight Classic with Damian Slater and guys like that, there's so much Australian talent starting to infiltrate the WWE and the big feds. And for me, I look at that and go, well, we're one of the biggest sporting nations on the planet, so it's no surprise of that. Are you surprised that it's taken this long for this massive Australian injection to happen?
Yeah, I am actually. I was on my way to making a move on the indie scene in America, and unfortunately, my ex-wife at the time got pregnant. So it's
Slow that one down.
and you just can't have kids and be a professional wrestler. And an old mate told me that a long time ago. Just said it's not going to happen. So I understood that. So my goal was to try and make Australia, like hopefully Australia, develops its own product.
Yep.
And we've got our own thing in our own backyard.
You have to leave your kids.
Yeah, but still got to leave your kids, but it's
It's
not as far away.
Yeah, exactly.
You can get on a plane, or you're only a couple of hours away at the most.
Yeah.
But as far as the injection into WWE, yeah, I'm very surprised. That not many years ago have made it. So it's
it's really weird how suddenly we've just boom.
Yeah. It's Yeah, but it's one of those things too. You got to fly yourself over there. Like it's got to come out of your own pocket.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a bit of a risk too. Like if you got family or if you're a single guy in your mid-20s, like I'd say, and you want to be a professional wrestler, like save all your pennies for a year and then shoot off over there and see what can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to any promoter you can. You just never know. It's send tapes, send whatever you can around. Like really get yourself out there, and you never know what could happen. So
if that's your advice to I guess the guys who are currently in the business, the greener guys, the younger guys, your suggestion is look, get your name out there, get yourself known, get yourself seen.
If they think they're good enough, and again talk to your promoter, talk to your trainer about that, and get an honest opinion. But yeah, make a profile. Make a copy of your matches. Send a few of your matches. Make a montage.
Yeah.
Do what you can. Have a training video. Do a training video. Just promote yourself however you want. Just get yourself out there. Profile pics, everything like that, and then just send it on to wherever you can. Get necessary addresses and then see what can happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, what would your advice be for, say that there's a kid out there watching this right now who goes, I want to be a wrestler. I want to be the next Blakestone.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice to that kid?
Train hard. Train hard. Hard work is, and that's the thing with America or anything in general. Hard work always pays off.
Mm-hmm.
It's train hard. It's live, eat, breathe, sleep. Set goals, write them down. Set yourself a goal, write that down. Go out there and do it. Don't let anything hold you back. Don't let anyone distract you. Don't let people say, "Oh, you can't do that." You know what I mean? Don't let people put you down or anything like that. If you get a goal and you think it's achievable, go for it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah, it's simple as that.
So, where do you want to see wrestling going from here? Is there a growth, or is there, in your mind, is there a perfect storm or outcome for what wrestling would become from here?
In a perfect world, you'd like to see everyone work together.
Yeah.
It's there's no real structure or infrastructure in professional wrestling in Australia. There's no board or no head of directors, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think if you could get a hierarchy of guys and get a promotion happening somehow or get a business plan or something somehow, I reckon it could be very possible to get some sort of funding and at least put on one big show with the best talent in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Again, with putting egos aside, working out an independent board, mind you, not a bunch of wrestlers, a bunch of promoters, working out who's the best guy for the job, who's the best here, and being fair about it, and it could be done, but it's that's a perfect world.
Yeah.
If you get the right guys in the right spots and the right job and the right women, I should say as well. There's a lot of female talent out there.
Definitely, yeah.
It could be done. Finding the venue. You could sort of set a goal to hold it in each capital city or something like that.
Yeah, go on tours and
and it's just again, it's about funding and all that sort of stuff. So when it's a money driven sort of business or money's behind it, it's money and ego.
I think that's one of the most important things that I think in talking with you that I've noticed is you don't seem to have one, which is interesting to me because you're a main eventer. Let's be real. But there are so many egos in wrestling, and they seem to just constantly get in people's way. Like people almost stooge themselves over because they can't let their own ego out of the way.
Yeah.
Would you agree? That's a
Yeah, I do. I don't understand it personally, but again, some people wrestling is all they have. I'm a professional wrestler and I love what I do. I love this stuff, but it's not it's not all of who I am. You know, when I leave here and go home, I become me again. Like I'm not a wrestler anymore. I don't. You know, it's my ego's at the door. Like I'll check my ego as soon as I get out of the ring. To be honest with you, it's yeah, that's where the ego should be. It's where a lot of people, it's all they have. And I understand that to a certain degree, but at the end of the day too, you got to, if you want to do what's right for the business, you've got to understand your place in whatever company you're working for.
Of course, yeah. And
not think you're the best, or you know, just have an understanding of where you're at, who you are, what your role is on the card, and go by that. It's and I'm not saying that because I was in the main event, or if I'm not in the main event, then I've got to help build the main event.
Yeah, well, that's actually, let's talk about that, because you were talking to me earlier about the way, if you were to book a show, you would structure a card and how you would have it flow so that everything leads into the main event. Would you mind telling the viewers at home, because I thought that was an absolutely fascinating point of view you had on it all. Yeah,
well, like if I ran a show, if Steve gives me the book and go, mate, you book the next show. It's all yours. All right, that's... personally, I'd have a first match, opening match, so I'd put probably 6 matches on the card. 3 prior intermission, 3 after, that's it.
Yep.
I wouldn't have a show go any longer than 2 hours. That is including intermission. I think the attention span of fans these days, I don't think 20-minute main events are... I think they're a bit too long. I think, you know...
The Ring of Honor matches are passé now, aren't they?
In my opinion, yeah. And again, we're not looking to attract the smarky wrestling fan that knows every move in the book.
Yeah.
We want to attract the young kids. Like, there's a lot of young kids there last night.
Yeah, definitely.
And to be honest, if they watch the Ring of Honor match, they'd fall asleep.
Yeah.
We want to keep them sparked and amped for the whole show. Personally, my first match would be a very fast 10-minute dynamic match. Okay. I'd even look at the lighter guys. I'd have a babyface go over, just get things started, you know.
Nice hot start to the night.
Nice hot start, get everyone pumped. Nice, you know, back and forth action, you know, it's and get everything going. Second match, if I had girls available, I'd probably put the girls on there. Or just someone I'll look to build up, maybe a big heel that you want to build up, or
like a squash match or something like that.
I think squash matches are a thing of the past. I don't think I think you want to see all the talent out there.
Yeah.
Just maybe, just like a sort of 5-minute match. Someone you want to build up. Some guy you want to build up. Like I wouldn't do a squash. So to speak. Yeah, I find squash is boring.
Yeah, so do I. It just seems like
all you're watching is an entrance and a finish.
Yeah.
And I think that's just a waste of time. And especially when you want to make the most out of that 2 hours you got.
Yeah, well that's it. When you say six matches.
Yeah. So someone you want to build up, all the girls. I'd put that in second.
Yep.
Before intermission, I'd put, if you got 2 titles, I'd probably look to put my first title match on there.
Yep.
Get everyone amped again, get everyone pumped again, and
lead into intermission on a high.
Lead into intermission on a bit of a high. You know, have everyone talking. Oh yeah, how's that? First match after intermission, just maybe a tag or maybe a tag match there.
Just kind of breathe and give pace.
Get everyone back on, give someone a different dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic of what we got there. Then I wouldn't call it semi-main, but before the main event, just again another nice cruisy match. Maybe someone else you might want to build up, someone that might be next in line for a title.
I was going to say maybe a number 1 contenders or a challenger or something.
Something like that. Yeah, nothing that's going to steal the show. Then your main event that should be nice and well built there. So, or another girl semi-main as well. Sorry, maybe another girls like a girls match, either second on the card or before main event. Yeah, is where I put girls just quietly, and then you got your main event, which again I keep the main event between 10 and 15 minutes.
Yeah,
I think that's more than enough these days in this day and age.
Yeah, that's it. Unless you're doing some ridiculous feud that needs 2 out of 3 falls because you just can't control the match, then what do you need a 20-minute match for?
That's right. And again, we're trying to attract the average fan.
Yeah.
We're trying to attract the average punter. We're not trying to show off for our smarky mates that want to see this, that, and that. And I think that's the problem with professional wrestling in Australia is there's a lot of that happening, and you see shows stretch out from should be 3 hours or 3 to 4 hours, and and again, wrestling when your main event, the match that you want everyone to see is on too late. Kids are falling asleep.
Yeah, there's no energy in the building anymore.
That's where you're drawing your energy.
Yeah. If
the kids are quiet, then something's going wrong. They're either getting bored or tired or going to sleep.
Yeah.
Or something's not happening.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So.
And so where would you? I guess your ultimate storyline. So let's say that's how you book a show. If you were to book a year's storyline, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you book it around the idea of a babyface chasing a title, or do you do the babyface? Like, how would you book a territory for a year if you wanted to go from, say, let's go WrestleMania season.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, how do you go from your one WrestleMania main event to the next? Is it a chase or is it a long title run?
Personally, I think depending on the structure of your heel, I think it's always better for the babyface to chase.
Yep.
Because again, you want to see, for example, Elliot Sexton. Like, he's got a good character. I reckon he could have a very good long title reign. He might drop it here, but then regain it very quick.
Yep.
Just to get that, different vibe, different taste.
Yep.
So he might only drop it for maybe one show, then might get it back.
Mm-hmm.
And it just goes through all the talent. But in the meantime, you still got to build someone else up.
So you build up that one challenger that's separate from him.
Well, you'd want to build a couple up just in case, someone else is over a bit more, and the other thing's getting a bit bland.
Or injuries or anything like that.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so just to give someone a different taste and stuff like that. So I definitely have the heel as champion. Most of the time, I always think the heel getting chased. Otherwise, it's going to be like John Cena when he's holding the title, and people are just going to boo him out of the building.
Yeah, because you're just undefeated because you're the good guy.
Yeah, it's and it gets a bit bland, and especially now it was okay back in the Hulk Hogan days because they only had 4 shows a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was good because all you want to see was Hogan.
Yeah.
But now when you got a show every month,
if not more, with the brand split.
Yeah, or with like Raw, SmackDown, and then the pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly.
So you don't want to see the same guy with the belt doing the same thing every show. So you want to see a change. You want to see change more often than not there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But personally, putting the strap on the heel is I think is always the way.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I guess let's just go back to AWA quickly before we wrap things up and whatnot. With your experience last night and facing Elliot Sexton, I'm guessing you would clearly want to wrestle him again because you enjoyed the match. None of us can deny that. Those of us who saw the match enjoyed the match. I guess you want to wrestle him again, but is there anybody else in AWA that you look at and go, yeah, you know what, I'd like to kick the shit out of that guy too?
Oh, Rocky Monero for sure.
Yeah.
Rocky Monero, I got some past history from when I was down here before.
Yep.
We never really met one-on-one in the ring. We always sort of, again, just like last night, we met sporadically. We never met in an actual match, but we've been...
You're incidentally always there.
Yeah, we've always we've been in tag matches, we've been involved in tag matches, and we've generated some pretty good animosity and heat towards each other. So he's one guy I'd definitely love to get in there with.
Yep.
Elliot Sexton for sure.
Yep.
If my time comes again for a title shot, or in general, or if he wants to anywhere else. But it's definitely Monero. Wouldn't mind getting back in the ring with Jag. Or getting in the ring with Jag. That's something that I've wanted to do. I've always wanted to wrestle the best in the country, and there's been a couple I've sort of missed or bypassed, like in my career, and Jag would be up there as well. Maybe Damian Slater.
He's got a lot of buzz on him.
At a certain point. But but other than that, those guys I'd sort of like to focus my attention towards.
As far as the bullet Kliq goes, a legitimate question: is there one of if Steve comes to you and goes, right, you're facing a member of the bullet Kliq, is there one you don't want to? Like, is there one of those guys where you're like, that's guy I'm going to die for getting him? Not in a bad way, just in a literal like, I don't want to have to wrestle that guy. Is it good?
I'll face them all.
Hey?
I'll face them all, and it's business.
Yeah.
I'll face them all as business. They're my brothers, and they know that too.
Yeah.
They'd say the same thing. It's business. If we got to do it, it's business. But they're all, like, to be honest, they're all hard in the ring. That's why I joined with them and not against them.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So I don't want to have to wrestle them anyway. That's why I went in there with them. But yeah, it's I remember every match, every one of the matches with those guys. Like, it wasn't a good day at the office, that's for sure.
No, I bet.
No, it's and that's the good thing about the Bullet Kliq. We're all got our own talent in equal ways. Like, we all got our own thing. I reckon we're all different, and I think that's what makes us unique as well. We're all different on our own level.
Yeah, that's where you all look different.
Yeah.
But you're all smash mouth.
Yeah.
And even though you have different styles, you feel you. I think that the common thing in the Bullet Kliq members, after spending some time with you guys, is intensity. You're all really intense.
Yeah.
And that translates as something big. You can feel it through the screen, through the cameras, through everything. You just feel the fact that when you guys are a unit together, it's frightening.
Yeah.
And I like personally, I wouldn't want to be a guy who's like, I'm gonna face the Bullet Kliq. You'd be like, no, man.
Yeah, well, that's right. And it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's only going to grow.
So is that your aim for, say, the next 12 to 18 months? Is grow the Bullet Kliq?
Grow the Bullet Kliq. See what we can do. Get it out there around the country. Chase whatever titles we need to chase. But if not, I don't think sometimes we need titles to make a name for ourselves. And it's not always about titles.
Sometimes you can be bigger than the titles as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure, Blakestone. Before you go, if I could just ask one favour, if I could just look into this camera here and just kind of Blakestone promo on anybody you'd like to for me.
I'm Blakestone. I'm the man. I'm the machine. I'm the best in this country, and there isn't a damn thing that anybody can do about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Blakestone, thank you very much, my friend. It's been a pleasure. We'll see you all next time on A Word with Adam. I'm Adam Gerard.
This has been a Cabana production.